Welcome back to Hopper's Hot Rods YouTube watchers. Let's play a quick game of guess what I broke this time. As you can see, the poor van is back on the lift, but it is in need of general maintenance. Going to change the oil, and this will be the first time I check the catch can, little catch can thing. We're going to see what's in that. But let me paint you a verbal picture, an oracular image. I'm driving along and it's dark, it's late. I've got a trailer with the biggest car I've ever seen on it. It's a 63 Cadillac. You might have seen it in some of the other videos. And there's a wind advisory and there's sheets of rain and the visibility is about this far. And all of a sudden, the engine gets louder significantly. The sudden drone. And I thought I was on the rumble strips, but it wasn't that. I'm in the middle of nowhere, somewhere between Tupelo and Memphis on Death Highway 78. So I get back out onto, what is that, 22, the main highway, and it's just loud and drony. I look at the exhaust system and everything looks fine. I check the collectors, I check the manifold bolts, because after they heat cycle a few times, those things can work loose. At least on older cars, when you put headers on, it seems like they always work loose. You have to retighten them 2 or 3 times before they're officially snugged up. I don't see anything wrong under here. And then I start feeling around and there's a hole in the top of the muffler. You can stick your hand in. It blew apart. I don't know if it was water hitting it or just age and rot. We're gonna cut that off. We're gonna put on something nicer. And if it's too loud, we'll go dual exhaust. We'll put 2 mufflers on there. We're gonna make this thing a nice, comfortably, rumbly cruiser. So let's drain the oil, cut the exhaust off, and make some changes under this thing. Start the music thing. Here's the old muffler, and this is where I believe the problem is. So let's just, let's slice this thing out of here and have a look at it and go from there. There we are. Now we should have a muffler that is no longer connected to the vehicle. Let's have a look at this thing. Take 22. Mechanics, like I pretend to be, use a variety of diagnostic tools to determine whether or not a part is bad or no longer functioning as it should. Circuit testers, continuity testers, computer diagnosticals, but occasionally, with a sharp enough eye, you can determine just from a visual inspection if there's a problem. I think there's a problem with this muffler. No wonder it was so loud. You'd stick a baseball in there. Look at that thing. The other side's not much better, but it hasn't gotten all the way through yet. And this was the side that was facing down, because the other side looked so crappy. When I reused the muffler, I flipped it over. So I guess that's why it blew out, through the top. Time for a new muffler. I'll show you what I got. So here's our muffler. Here's our extra outlet that we don't really need or want. It's just kind of rotten and falling apart. So let me show you what I got to replace this thing. I ran a tape across it. It's 18 inches. Da-da-dum. MagnaFlow, name brand, cool stuff. And I just want you to see, oh, that's pretty. Look at the difference in construction. Welded, stainless steel. This will last probably longer than I will. Nice. And it's 18 inches and it's got the same outlet setup, so we might be able to just replace it right where the other one went. Now, if it's a little louder, then we will, I don't know. It can't be worse than this. Let's check it out. Now, while I'm under here, I'm going to go ahead and pull this whole section of the tailpipe off that snakes over the rear end, because it might be in the way for what else we're going to look at while we've got it on the lift. That's right, a mystery, something new, something I haven't mentioned yet, something I might not need and might not work. All right, let's get this out of the way. Because I've been pulling a trailer with this thing, so far it's just been a car trailer, which is fine, but I may need to start pulling an enclosed trailer. Now, when you load a car trailer, you can adjust how much tongue weight there is by moving the car fore and aft. But with an enclosed trailer, the back of the vehicle can squat down if there's too much tongue weight. And then your steering is real light. And if you're just going across town, it's not a huge deal, but if you're gonna spend hours on the highway, you want it to sit the way it should and be safe and track nice. So we're thinking probably air springs, adjustable air springs. Now, when you Googleize it, they send you this kit recommended for this vehicle. And at first glance, I hate it. I don't like the look of it at all. So let me show you what I got, and then we may do some measurements and do something custom, because to me, it just doesn't look like it's gonna work right. I could be wrong. Well, I filmed a whole segment about filling the oil filter before installing it, but apparently nobody was rolling film. Caught the tail end of it, I think. At any rate, it's good practice to do that. And you could also grab yourself a Sharpie and write the date and mileage on the filter, so that if you wake up dead and somebody else gets your rig, they'll know when you serviced it last. Too morbid? Take 22. So if you sell your vehicle and somebody else services it, the mileage and the date of the oil change will be right there written on the filter, which is kind of nice. I'm using the Schaefer's Supreme 7000, and it's similar to conventional motor oil, only funner. And it's got molybdenum in it, and it's what I have, because only the coolest vehicles get to use this stuff. If you can find it, I recommend it. Let's get back to it. I'm sure this camera angle will magnify my already prominent forehead that is getting shinier by the day. Here's the deal. When you order a load lifter kit for this specific vehicle, they give you the Load Lifter 5000 with the built-in bump stop. The problem with that is that's how tall it is. It's this damn tall. Unless it doubles in height when you put air in it. I mean, I can just push it down and hit that bump stop. So I'm immediately thinking it needs more suspension travel, like a double convoluted bag, like 2 of these. The bags that look like this. Now, I haven't read the directions yet, so I don't know where they intend to mount this, but it came with all these brackets. Well, this is the hardware. There's your line kit. It came with these brackets. You know, one's going to be an upper, one's going to be a lower, obviously. So, because there's two pairs of these that look exactly alike. So I'm going to read the instructions and see where they expect me to mount this. But we might end up either fabricating or finding a more universal kit that will work with the axle tube and mount them inboard of the frame rails, which is why I went ahead and pulled that exhaust out of the way. I just think this is going to be a bouncy, nearly useless, unless you were using it with a trailer all the time. I don't think this is going to give me the suspension travel that it has already, because it's got an extra leaf spring in it. It already sits a little higher than stock. So let's find out, because these might have to go back. Now, I still think it's a great idea to put air springs on this thing for pulling a trailer. And since I'm probably going to end up with some kind of an air spring on there, while it's on the lift, we're going to go ahead and install this little compressor fill kit. And it's got a little gauge and air release valve and switch. And we'll mount that somewhere in the cabin of the van so you can monitor the bag pressure and you don't have to get out with a compressor and fill the thing up every time. Plus, you can see if you have a failure, the pressure will drop. They make a much fancier version that's got blue teeth, and you can use your cell phone to put air in your suspension. I question how much nicer that is. Pressing the button on your cell phone outside of your vehicle instead of pressing the button while inside your vehicle. I mean, I guess you could look at it. It just seems a little goofy to need to do it from your cell phone. But, you know, to each their own. You know, it only costs 100% more to go first class. This was inexpensive. We have all the stuff we need, mounting hardware, wires, kits. So while we're in the air, we're gonna mount that and be ready for airbags, even if we don't use these right away. I wonder how many times I repeat myself and then cut it out of the video. This bracket is supposed to mount a little farther over, but I'll have to trim it up for the shock absorber. And this mount goes up here at about this level here. So that leaves, and this is a little spacer. I've got all the spacers and brackets in place. So I guess when you jack the vehicle up, it's going to be hanging from these airbags because there's no way it's going to stretch that far. And this is why I was thinking that a double convoluted bag would be a better fit. But it does just clamp right to this axle tube, so I guess that's a workable deal. I'm going to have to cut off this bump stop apparently. And I don't know, man. I don't know. I just kind of hate the way that looks. It doesn't look like it's going to work right. I don't think this is going to be the one. Well, using my transmission jack, which is really handy because it's got you can adjust the angle a couple of different directions and you can set the muffler right on it. So that's a tip if you have a transmission jack and you're setting up your exhaust, and a lumber clamp to hold the resonator in place. I think I like the way it's set up. It's you know, the same way it was before. The alignment is good. It's not perfect, but it's gonna be fine right there. It's gonna come back down anyway because I'm not gonna remake that hanger in the back yet. But that's gonna be our MagnaFlow setup. So let's make some sparks and do my version of welding, which is terrible, but it's going to hold it in place. You know, It's only a 110 welder, but you can set the heat too high. I burned a giant hole. I gotta fix that. God, I might be the worst welder I know. Here's the world's worst welding job, but we now have a MagnaFlow. The inner workings, it's strands of nougat stretched into fibrovascular bundles and twisted at a certain frequency to cancel out harmonic sine waves. So if you can't weld and it looks like crap, you can grind it and then hit it with some DHT. That's what I'm gonna do. And instantly, crappy welds turn to custom exhaust. It's goofy, but what the hell. I was here, I figured I'd shoot this all flat black. When that dries, it'll be all nice and, you know, flat and black. It'll look better than that brown piece of pipe sticking out of there. Take 22. It was my intention to do a little bit more on the exhaust and install those airbags, but I didn't like them. And as much as I like to work at a leisurely pace, I have squandered my vehicular time doing other things and getting ready to run out on a road trip. So we're gonna fill this thing with oil, charge the AC and see if that works okay, and hear how this new MagnaFlow muffler sounds. I'm excited to hear it. Let's get the oil inside it and go from there. See, doesn't that look better? I really want to get this pipe where it's tucked up right about here and cut at an angle. So it'll be like more in stealth mode. But that'll be after we put airbags on here, because we still use this thing as a work vehicle, pulling cars and trailers, whatever we need. Meanwhile, it's dinner at Butt. Exciting stuff coming up on the next video. This one, we chopped off a muffler and we put a muffler back on, saving hundreds of dollars that the muffler shop wanted to charge. It was a lot cheaper to order one that is a cool, well-made one than just to have a stock one replaced. Doesn't always save money to do your own stuff, but sometimes it does. This time it did. Next video, we're gonna do the airbags. Gonna be some cutting, a little fabrication, a little welding. It's gonna be exciting. I didn't even mount the compressor in this video because I had to get on the road, but I'm back from on the road through the magic of television. So next time we'll, who the hell's over there? That's all we got going on this week. Thank you for watching. See you next time.